Hello, and welcome back from the dead to the Med Fax Debrief. I'm the producer of this podcast. My name is rihkeestrapp, and I'm here with Tejhler again to reflect on everything that has happened since this episode was first recorded, which I think was about a year ago.
A bit over that now. It was in 2022, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming back.
Yeah, of course.
So what has changed? It's been a long time. Where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, like you said, we died, and now we're
Yes.
back. If you can't tell. But yeah, I think we kind of just went right into, like, the pop astrology, like, right from the get-go.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it was inspired from such a wholesome place, because I think like even before like the pandemic, a lot of the astrology that we were connecting on was like really silly and really fun.
Yes.
And it was like totally like a stress coping mechanism, and like I couldn't think of a more stressful time than now.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been honestly doing way less, like, astrology in general since I've done that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still do it every now and then. I still keep up with, like, certain transits and stuff. But I've been just really into blind items now. And so
more on the celebrity side of things than the astrology.
I've just been really into blind items now, and I listen to quite a few podcasts. And I just get the dirt, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah, so I mean, like, feel free to dive into that, like whatever you feel most passionate about, especially if there is any overlap, based on like some of the astrology that we talked about, and if it played out.
Honestly, they keep talking. The people that I really like, they keep talking about doing an Armie Hammer episode or redoing it because the first one was so like outdated. It was very much when like. It was very much in time with our first episode, and it was like the last we heard of him, he was working in a resort.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, he had a job?
Yeah, he like moved to like this tropical resort and was like a fishing instructor.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I thought he had bought something.
He bought, that was after, I guess. He went, after he had bought this patch of land in like...
Because that's where the bodies were found.
Yeah, and then he left, and then someone spotted him being, like, an instructor on some resort or something. I don't know.
Okay. So that's an interesting update, for sure.
But now, I was looking him up while the other episode was playing, and he was exposed last month.
Exposed.
Again for weird sex stuff. I didn't click the article because
That's probably smart.
I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine based on the stuff that he talked about he was exposed for being into before. I can only imagine. But yeah, he got exposed again last month. His ex-fiance came forward and was like, yeah, this guy's freaky.
Probably something that we can't say on YouTube, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
he's just freaky. Just leave it at that.
Good luck Googling that, guys.
Yep.
That guy later. Oh, wow. Yeah, one of the things that I think we got into right away wasn't like traditional celebrities in the traditional sense, but I think we were talking a lot about like internet celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we mentioned like Julia Fox and Chloe Cherry, and it's funny because Chloe Cherry isn't really doing much that I'm seeing. I think she's just kind of modeling and stuff, which is chill.
Yeah.
But it's funny, she got so like popularized for her look with her lip fillers. She had huge lips, but she just posted a TikTok like last week where she was like, "Oh my God, when I see pictures of myself from 3 years ago with like, it was like 9 milligrams of filler in her lip. I don't know how filler works. I think it was just a lot. Or like 8 needles of injection for her. I don't know, but it was a lot, and then she regrets it now. She's like, yeah, no, that was
I know,
much.
like, I haven't personally got them myself. I know that there is, like, I think it's, like, if you overfill it, it can, like, more chance of, like, migrating, and then you get, like, a really lumpy lip. So, like, maybe that's it, but, like, experts on lip filler, feel free to go off in the comments.
Are they trendy or are they dead?
Are they done? I actually, like, low-key think lip filler looks really cool and that people should do whatever they want.
I think
I
it
wouldn't
looks
do
cool
it.
on some people.
Yeah.
But then there's some people where I'm like, you are addicted to just filler in general.
Yeah, I think, like, a lot of things can get pushed past to that, like, addiction level, and, like, there's definitely cases of lip filler being part of that. I think, like, something that's been super all over the internet, almost to a nauseating degree, has been the Swifties. And I mean, like, I follow a lot of political stuff, so I tend to see more of it like, oh, she's taking her private jet everywhere, and she's suing the kid that's trying to track, like, all celebrities, but, like, claiming that he's a stalker and these sorts of things. So what's your thoughts on the Taylor Swift cult?
It's just insane. There's so many different sects of this cult.
Like, interesting.
There's the Gaylers.
Okay.
Who are 100% convinced that Taylor Swift had a relationship with Karlie Kloss in 2013, 2014, the era when her album 1989 came out.
Okay.
And they are really mad that she won't admit to actually being gay, and they believe every single one of her boyfriends are beards.
Oh my god! Are they like, Taylor, read the lesbian master doc?
No, literally, they think she already has. She's just being straight for
money.
Yeah,
for the being
like, even with Travis Kelce right now, they're like, oh, she's just getting that NFL money. She's.
I mean, it's the timing.
Yes.
Literal Super Bowl. There was so many photo ops that would corroborate that theory.
And a lot of, like, the guys that she's dated have been, like, rumored to be gay, so that's just another thing, that she's just kind of a professional beard.
Wow.
In the Hollywood
scene. Oh my gosh.
Which I feel is controversial to say, but I think it's kind of funny. But that's just speculation. It's not my opinion necessarily.
Yeah. Well, like,
but that's the Gaylers. That's the Gaylers.
Yeah, you keep up with speculation. That's what we're talking about today. Yeah. So, yeah, there's other subsects.
Yeah, though. But the straight Swifties who think that, like, Taylor and Travis are gonna get married, they hate the Gaylers. They're like, stop sexualizing Taylor.
I mean, fair.
Yes.
I feel like celebrities get that a lot.
But then they'll be like, oh my god, Travis is gonna... Who wants to bet on the Super Bowl if Travis is gonna propose to her? And it's just like, aren't you kind of doing the same thing, but it's different, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they'll be like, Taylor is the small girl. She does not have to feel like the monster on the hill, because that's one of her song lyrics. She's like... next to Travis Kelce, big tall man. They're doing, like, the millennial, like, beep, 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 like, baby talk thing. They're like, oh, Taylor does not have to be the big monster. The Travis Kelce, big tall man, big strong man. And it's like, ugh. And there's certain Swifties that I feel are just, like, like, they make her, like, the face of, like, trad wiffery, you know?
Except that's, like, I feel like a traveling musician, especially one, like, at her level, is literally
but they think she wants to settle down and stuff. They're like, oh my god, they're, like, projecting.
Yeah, basically. they have some, like, really sweet fanfic that they could probably, like, monetize.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they don't really do that anymore, though, do they?
Fanfics?
No. Make movies out of fanfics.
Oh, I don't know. The fandoms, they can survive on their own.
Yep.
Yeah, because I believe in episode 2 when we talked with Asha Ash's internet persona, Gamimi, we also talked about like Pluto and Aquarius being like the rise of like cults.
Yeah.
So like the Swifties is definitely one of the first contenders.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Is there any other like cults that you can think of?
There's a lot of documentaries about cults, I feel, coming out.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
There's a lot of like exposing of cults. Like there's so many like that the Latter-day Saints church was like exposed in like a huge documentary like about like the Duggars.
Okay.
And it was like exposing that they were like super abusive and stuff like that, and it was because of like stuff that the religion teaches them and how it's super cultish, and even some of their kids came forward in the documentary being like, yeah.
I've definitely have had friends who've described similar experiences, honestly.
And what else? There was that godmother cult.
I don't know that one.
Oh my god, okay. So I haven't seen the documentary, but I've watched a couple videos about it like before the documentary came out.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was this woman, it was like the loving, I don't know, I forget what the cult's actual name is, but they called her godmother, and it was just this white lady, and she had a bunch of followers, and she would basically just get pissed drunk every single day.
Whoa.
And order them around and be like, I'm getting a prophecy, blah, blah, blah. And
wow.
then
That's how I get my prophecies,
she ended
too.
up getting cancer or something, or liver failure or something like that. And she refused to see a doctor. She started drinking, like, tons of, like...
Oh, my God.
I think it was, like... What was it? It was... but she turned blue from drinking, like, this liquid.
Whoa.
All of her skin turned blue, and then she eventually died, and then her cult members kept her body, like, preserved and turned her into a mummy. Did not tell anybody that she died, and, like, it wasn't, like, reported until, like, 3 weeks later.
A literal...
They did, like, a raid on, like, the encampment, and then they found, like, her mummified body.
That is such an insane story.
But there was just a huge documentary about it. And, like, a bunch of the cult leaders are still, like, yeah, like, cult members are still, like, super in it, like, thinking she's gonna come back.
Yeah. I mean, like, some of the old cults are like that, too, right?
Yeah.
From, like, back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've definitely heard about, like, friends complaining about like family members that had been part of cults as well, and hearing about like some like things that look like an innocuous event is actually like a fundraiser for a cult. And like
there's also the protesting in front of Scientology buildings in like Los Angeles and stuff. Like there's tons of TikTokers like exposing like the Scientologists.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like there's always been these like rumors about it like towns being run by the Scientology, the Church of Scientology. I'm not an expert in any of these things.
There's one specific one that's like specifically just like Scientologists live there. I think. There was also that cult in Canada that got exposed. It was like Queen of Canada.
Yes, the Queen of Canada. I think me and Ash had touched on this, but really? We can get into it too because I get really excited about it because I guess
then she got like kicked out of the school. Yeah, she got kicked out of the school she was camping in.
But they were like also like going on like different tours across Canada, so they'd like pop up in different communities, and so the locals would have to
Canada, so that's what makes me giggle about it. Because I'm like, girl.
I mean, like most people here are settlers anyway.
I know, but
true.
it's like her herself. She is a first generation, like Canadian.
Yeah, there's a really amazing performance artist, socially engaged artist named Camille Turner, who I got to like study under a little bit. And she actually has a persona that it's called Miss Canadiana. Oh. And she goes around like pretending that she won this beauty contest. And like everyone in town, they were like, oh, it's a beauty queen. So everyone wants to meet her.
Yes.
And it's, I think it's a really cool piece. Go check out it on her website and read more about it in context.
It kind of reminds me of like when like Rick Mercer would go to the States during the Trump rallies and be like, what you guys doing here? I'm a Canadian. I don't know anything. And he would just get them to try and just explain their view. And then it would just be the most like, or he would just ask them being like, what do you think of gay marriage? Or, you know.
Honestly, I think Rick Mercer is like pretty funny. Like,
yeah.
I got to see him do like stand up at like one like event, and I was pretty entertained.
I was training a coworker of mine, and we were walking around a brick building looking for needles and giving out like harm reduction supplies. And while we were walking around the building, I was like, dang, I feel like Rick Mercer right now because his like
the way he films.
Yeah.
And it's like really documentary, like on the street style, talking to people.
Yeah, just a Canadian classic, I feel like he's
very... and he's so like within our context, he's like really local. Like he's always like really chummy with mayors and like knows all these people in obscure towns. So
the old Canadian like TV shows on CBC that were all like kind of like ironic and sarcastic, but they were like news and stuff. I love our sense of humor sometimes. Like it's just like Americans think we're dead serious, but we're just like
really passive aggressive.
Yeah,
really incredibly.
Because they think we're so nice.
We are not nice.
No,
we're just
any Americans
incredibly
watching.
Passive aggressive.
We're just so incredibly sarcastic and passive-aggressive, it's just going right over your head.
I mean, like, I think if, you know, like, you have, like, a certain level of neurodivergence, like, there's definitely a lot of, like, social things you can miss.
Yes.
Because one of the things, like, I had to learn is that, like, there's such a thing as, like, revenge cleaning.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like, that's, like, such a Canadian thing. Like, I'm going to clean... to spite you.
Just even, like, I remember, I'll never forget the day my mother was, like, sat me down and, like, was like, you cannot call people a goof.
Oh, no, we
In
can't
public.
get into this. We can't get into this.
If you're Canadian, you know. If you're rural Canadian, you know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Put it in the chat if you know.
Put it in the chat. Okay, so, let's, like, move on, because one of the things that we talked about was, like, celebs stepping down. Everyone's super annoyed with influencers.
Yes.
And we were like, you were talking about how like Shaq like actually stepped down.
He did step down for a little bit there, but he came back and rebranded as EDM Shaq.
EDM Shaq. So let's talk about EDM Shaq. Okay, so one of the things that I was thinking about was just like how like Neptune is still transiting through Pisces. And how that is just like what I would say like the things that have happened that would be emblematic of this transit would be like everyone discussing like fake news and like neuromarketing and like just all the false things you see on TikTok and like really having to examine and how great AI has become too. Like a lot of stuff is not real and like how do you pick it apart? And so we're like, Shaq's gonna step down. But, I mean, he kind of just rebranded. Like, he's EDM Shaq now. Like,
but he didn't tell anybody.
EDM
he just
Shaq.
showed up at festivals, and people were like, is that Shaq?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's kind of like, it seems like definitely like a million times more low-key based on, like, where he used to be.
Yes.
But also, like, DJing, like the pictures are like literally like thousands
and he's
of
like
people.
doing like super heavy bass raves. Like,
well, good for him.
Like,
that's cool.
Like the big
I
womps,
love that.
like,
I love a drum and bass. I love a
Yeah.
womp. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, EDM Shaq was a surprise I didn't think we saw coming back then.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is like adjacent also to like celebrities stepping down is just like celebrities getting really like desperate as they're like losing attention. So I was wondering if you especially in like some of these new notes that you're talking about, what are signs of like desperation from celebrities?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Like acting out for fame.
going on Instagram Live.
Oh, that's so real. That's so
Yeah.
real. And just saying hi to random fans as a last-ditch effort.
Not even that. They're just upset and drunk, and they go on Instagram Live,
Oh,
and then
no,
they
that's
just talk
worse.
so much shit on Instagram Live just to garner. It makes me think. Okay, it makes me. You know who Blueface and Krishan Rock is?
Not at all.
Okay, I did not ask to know who these people were, but TikTok thinks I'm their biggest fucking fans, and now I kind of am. Even though I'll never listen to their music, I just kind of like seeing the drama that they go through. Oh my god, the baby mama drama, the baby daddy drama, the stepmom drama, the filming each other while they're drunk all the time to get views, and like
No, that's awful.
just like straight up like domestic violence on Instagram Live, and then everyone's like,
How do they not get like kicked off for that?
I'm sure they do, but then they just
Yeah.
come back because they're celebrities, and like
That's wild.
you know.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, but they're an interesting bunch, honestly. I haven't heard. No, the one girl that Blueface kept flip-flopping back from, her name was Jaden. And then she finally left and started dating a girl. And then Krishan got another tattoo of him on her face. Like a portrait of him on the... After she was like, I'm done with him, I'm going to put out a diss rap. And she literally put out a diss rap being like my water broke because you're... I don't know, like, it was just, she's talking about how she was pregnant with his kid and, like, how she didn't like him and stuff like that. And it was just
and then he
so
got a
much bad
face
karma.
tat?
And then right after, she got a huge face tat of him after...
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she got a face tat of him after dropping a whole diss track about how much she hates him.
That's what you need to do to make up for the diss
And then-
track. A
and then
whole face tattoo.
And then everyone keeps posting videos of her son because they think he has FAS.
Oh, that's so unfair to the son, though.
It is.
That's so unfair to
It
the
is.
son.
I completely agree. I do
This
not
is
agree with it
literally
at all.
killing me
but
again.
she also does not protect him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, stop putting your kid in the limelight to be like
I
scrutinized
feel
like this.
I feel like, yeah.
Because
just
it's
in
gonna
general-
happen. It's gonna happen. Anything online will be scrutinized by anybody.
Yeah, well, like, celebrity children have a
Oh my
really hard
God.
time, too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Oh my god, and just like
I can't imagine.
the getting away with like that kind of violence because they're celebrities is really truly a good reason for celebrity to end.
Reminds me of the family vloggers. You know, the family vloggers that are all
Yes,
getting canceled right
absolutely.
now. Like,
Especially the family van life vloggers, which are probably the worst.
This
I
woman,
think.
this family vlogger, just got 60 years in prison. Just got sentenced like 2 days ago to 60 years in prison for abusing
What?
her children. But she was
Okay,
a family
wait.
vlogger.
Was that the one that was like starving her kids? Yeah,
And like
yeah.
chaining them to their beds
See,
and
like,
stuff. But she was like filming them.
She chained them to their beds.
Yeah, she got 60 years in prison for
Well,
all
that
the
makes
shit
sense.
she's done
That's
to
child
them.
abuse for sure. That's wild.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Ruby Frankie. That was
Yeah.
another thing. I feel like that's also a Pluto and Aquarius thing. It's like a lot of these like exploitative people are gonna
Yes.
be exposed.
thank goodness we really need to an end to it. I feel like that will also like come in layers as like the other transits fall into place and
Oh,
like
yeah.
build off, because once Pisces enters, or once Neptune enters Aries, I think there's gonna just be a lot of that like definitely exposed, and the people actually being leaders kind of there being a more investment.
That's gonna be
In
kind of
that.
like the Phoenix Rising moment.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be very phoenixy because I think there's also like Neptune is something dreamy, but like Neptune as something that signifies loss. So like losing a lot of false leaders and exposing like really who's
Losing your fame, losing your
Yeah.
connections and your networks.
Yeah. But I think it'll be cool if we can better recognize like who's doing the dishes and who's cooking food and like who's picking up cigarette butts. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so one last thing that I wanted to touch on, because when we were watching the show premiere live with all of y'all, I think we had like a moment where it was like this last episode was like before you did your first drag show.
Yeah.
And so, like, just so much has happened since then. So we were both, like, looking at each other like, damn. Like, it's been amazing, actually.
Yeah.
So I want you to just, like, kind of go off and, like, be proud of yourself for a moment, because you've done a lot of shows since then.
Yeah, so I am, clairvoyant still, didn't change the name or anything. I'm a member of the House of Eversick. It's based in Treaty 3, and I have done, I don't know how many shows. I've done a lot. I've done a lot.
Yeah.
I stopped counting after like my fourth or fifth one. I was like, I'm just having fun. But
yeah, that's awesome.
I feel like I'm very much a fixture of the community in Sault Ste. Marie at the moment. I also performed in Sulikout's first ever drag show, and my family's from Sulikout, so like that was so awesome. It was the first time I've ever performed for like any family ever.
Yeah, that's so sweet. That's so sweet, and I just love it.
It was
Sulikout.
weird. It was weird for me, but I'm glad I got it over with. So now I'm not like weird about my family coming to shows in the future.
Yeah.
Because I think I struggled with that for a while, because I never invited
it's a lot
my mom.
more intimidating.
I never invited my mom to shows when she lived here, and I was like, if she asked about it, I'm like, you can come.
All
but
nervous.
I think she knew I didn't really like want.
It is.
Because I wasn't
really
confident. Because I wasn't confident
yeah.
in myself yet, and I don't want to perform for my family if I'm not confident.
Yeah, like you want a couple shows under your belt, so you know what your routines are and like how you're moving and stuff. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But then you actually did the thing.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting also. Do you have anything coming up right now?
I'm actually going to be doing another show in Sulikout next month. That's my next show for Two-Spirit Awareness Week. It's the first ever one for Lac Sul, and we're going to be doing Drag on the Res.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's going to be a great lineup of a bunch of friggin' performers, and I'm so excited. We're going to have Chaos from Canada's Drag Race Season 3 up in Lac Sul performing. So,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
What's the venue?
The Lac Sul Rec Center.
Oh, the Rec Center. Cool. Right on.
So come on down.
Come on up.
Come on up. Yeah, come on up to the Lac Sul Rec Center and come watch a good show. And I think I'm also facilitating Tea and Bannock.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you have the dates for those events yet?
There's events all week for Two-Spirit Awareness Week in Lac Sul and Sulikout from the 18th to the 23rd.
Amazing. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you for rejoining us and sharing that huge career milestone that you've made and all of the like juiciest, gossipiest pieces about celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
This was such a treat.
Yeah, it was.
And thank all of you for joining us also, and have a great